Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Subramanya, can you just confirm if I'm audible? Yeah. So we will wait for some more time. There are a few attendees joining. So I think we'll just start. The people will keep joining. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this knowledge sharing session on 4D BIM and reality capture. My name is Dinesh, and I've been associated with Desapex for last 4 years and been working on digital implementation in construction industry. So basically, I am from civil engineering background, and then I went on to do my master's in construction project management from Rick School of Built Environment. That's about me. And jumping to our project today. So, I mean, the main agenda for our this session, we will be discussing about the 4D and reality capture and little bit before we jump on to 4D and other things. I will just briefly explain about our company and what services we provide. So this is the agenda that we will be following. So initially, I would just run through the company presentation. We'll explain about the company and kind of services that we provide for digital implementation in construction industry. And then I'll just give a little bit a brief introduction to BIM, why BIM is important. And then we jump on to the 4D BIM and 4D BIM implementation. I have a samples virtual construction simulations to show you guys. And also part of not this webinar, but I would like to touch 5D because since we are already doing majority of work still 4D. So we'll briefly touch on 5D as well. And also the reality capture, which is second part of our webinar, where we would be using the laser scanning technology for a progress monitoring in terms of capturing the actual work that is being performed on site. Right. So we would just understand what reality capture is and what is the workflow and what are the use cases, how it is being helpful in progress monitoring. And later we have question. We can go on to question and answers. You can ask me if you have any queries or any doubts on any of these topics that we are discussing today. So basically, we are Desapex is a digital engineering company. We're working towards digital implementation in construction industry, and we do provide services throughout the life cycle of the built asset, starting from design stage, construction, operation and maintenance, and renovation. Where we have multiple services to fit in different stages or throughout the life cycle of the project. So our mission is enable digital adoption and integration of technology for target value design. And we believe that through this mission, we would, meet our long-term vision of a sustainable built environment. We are headquartered in Bangalore, and we have, a small branch offices in Chennai, Hyderabad, and Mumbai, and a operation in Hubli as well. And we have, our Europe office in Sweden, Stockholm, where we serve all our European customers. And we have projects all over the global. So we are doing a lot of work in Australia, and then US, and basically in Sweden and other parts of the Europe. So this is something very special and unique. That's ISO International Standard Certification for BIM. Basically, we are the first company in the world and only company in India still to have BSI kite mark. Basically, what ISO 19650 stands is it is a global BIM standard. So we are the first company to get this audited, and we were certified with BSI kite mark back in 2019. So 5 of our projects have been, audited at 2019, and based on their assessment, starting with all the standards to be followed, particularly for the how information has to be managed, produced, and shared. So all these, in terms of these aspects, we have been audited and awarded this kite mark. And from then, every year, 5 of our projects get audited, and it is not just one time you get this award and then you stop working on this. So we have to every project of ours will go into this process of ISO 19650, and we follow all the standards as per ISO 19650. And every year, 5 of our projects get audited, and we keep getting this certificate. So that this is something that we stand out of the crowd. Generally, a lot of people provide BIM services, but process is something that is very important, and that will only give us the successful for BIM implementation. A lot of people talk BIM is not successful in some of the projects because there is no right process that is being set in that particular project to be followed. So which is a very important, and this gives us the benchmark for that. And when it comes to the customer segments, we have dealt with corporate real estate, residential, airports, especially a lot of data centers in Europe and India as well, and warehouses, factory buildings, retail, and infrastructure as well. And we have done a couple of road digitalization projects and bridges, and some of the metro as well. This is our team, very young and dynamic. So we have people from all the backgrounds, civil and electrical, structure, mechanical, architects, and we have people all with the certified, IGBC from RICS, RICS, MRICS, and and also we have a good business development team as well. So not to mention, and then so going to our, we have basically three verticals where we provide these services. One is digital design management, digital project management, and digital asset management. Basically, in digital design management, we do manage the design that is being developed by the design teams, where we do the architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, firefighting modeling, and help in clash detection and coordination, and BIM-based construction services, quantity takeoff, and various other things. We'll go into deep in one by one service. And when it comes to digital project management, we set up the entire process as per ISO 19650. We do technical due diligence, setting up the digital labs to visually see the models, VR, AR, and we have other assessments that goes into the particular service. And when it comes to digital asset management, we provide scan to BIM services where we do digitalize the existing properties and generate the as-built drawings, and energy maintenance and asset management. So if one service, so starting with digital design management, basically what so we do get this 2D layouts or any other non-geometrical data or JED drawings, which will be the base for us to develop the 3D model. So once we develop the 3D model, so we have a lot of use cases that comes into the place once we have the 3D geometry model in place. Do the clash detection and coordination and resolve all the clashes before it goes onto the site. So we provide that services, and also extract the quantities. So when you do the clash detection and coordination, you resolve all the clashes, you get accurate quantities in terms of all the elements wise, and generate the drawings from the 3D model that you've developed, and 4D and 5D services. I'll talk about 4D and 5D in the later part of our webinar. So these are the services that we do provide in digital design management. And when it comes to digital project management, this is very new and very unique kind of services that is actually required in industry to be digitally successful. So we be part of a project from the start to the end and support the client or PMC to start with design brief, create the owner's information requirements, BIM execution plans, BIM use cases. So we need to understand what are the use cases that we are looking at this project. So accordingly, we need to set our goals, and the models have to be developed based on the requirements. Say if you're doing 4D, so you need to understand what all things that need to go into the model. So all these things have to be done at the briefing stage to understand what is our BIM goals and what is our information requirements. And then when it comes to the design stage, so we do audit the models that has been developed by the consultants, and also perform the class detection and coordination here, and have the post contract BIM execution plans, validate those BIM execution plans. When it comes to the construction stage, supply chain assessment and training and capability, if there's contractors or vendors who is not capable of working on certain things, so they would be requiring some training on certain things to be implemented. And the construction progress monitoring, where we do deploy our scanners, laser scannings to do the construction progress monitoring. So, and then when it comes to the operation, so this is a very important part of handing over the model. So you do the 3D model, and you have all the geometrical information, but you also need to validate. At the end, there would be a lot of changes that happen on site, which doesn't reflect back in your drawings or in either model. So it is a progressively captured as built, and with the laser scanners, and update your 3D BIM model as per the actual site conditions, and add in all the non-geometrical information into it. And this 3D model with all the information will be helpful to take it forward to the operation and maintenance, where you use this model as a digital twin to use it for your operation and maintenance. So that's the entire service about digital project management. So digital asset management, this basically again we have the laser scanners with us. We know three laser scanners. Uh, with the help of this reality capture technology, we capture the physical buildings. Say there's old existing buildings which does not have the as-built drawings. Say certain projects are undergoing on a renovation, or if you take a factory, they have a old assembly line that has been set. So you need to understand the entire assembly line geometry, where it can be replaced in another structure. So basically, what we're trying to do in this particular service is to scan the entire physical asset, and then convert that into a 3D model based on the point cloud data. And when you have the 3D model into it, so then the next step is to feed in all the non-geometrical information into it, and then take that model, take the digital twin into operation and maintenance, where you can do the asset management, energy management, building analytics, and maintenance management. So this is about digital asset management. Uh, this is we have also a tool, a platform which can be used in operation and maintenance. It's called Granloon. We are partnered with Granloon for digital twin, and where our models can be used for operation and maintenance. It's a FMM tool which has all the ticketing system, service, maintenance management, energy management, asset management, and you can maintain all your real estate portfolios using the BIM models in this particular platform. So I was talking about a lot of things, but main thing is that what is our approach. So basically, these are the three important things that is required for a successful implementation. First thing, yes, you need a domain knowledge of how things work, and you need certain tools and technologies to, like, say, you need some softwares, you need some other tools to do this particular works. These are the two, but I would also mention the important part is the process. So we need to set up this process so that it runs smoothly. Otherwise, you end up doing, double the time or triple the time work that you would be requiring to perform the particular activity. That's where a lot of things go wrong in projects when it comes to BIM, where you don't have the process set. So that's very important, which is main concentration that we would in our approach into the projects. That's about my company and what services we provide, and we'll jump on to the main agenda of our webinar. So first, I would just give a little bit a brief about why BIM and what is BIM, and all people while talking about BIM is a Revit and just one software. No, BIM is not just one software, or it is not just one tool. It's way bigger. Revit is just one tool which you will be using to develop a 3D model. That's a little bit of clarity in that. And basically, it's a McLeamy curve, or there's also other name for it, Patrick curve, which basically explains us why you need BIM and what is the workflow and process that we need to follow. If you look at curve 3 and 4, basically 3 is a traditional design process that we are following, where we are spending a lot of our time and efforts in construction stage. So when you're doing a lot of things in the construction documentation, the cost of design changes are high, and which will lead us, it will affect in both cost and the time of the project, but it will not give major impact for our feasibility for our project. So what we're trying to do is, by bringing this process or a workflow, BIM workflow, I would design process, where we're bringing this entire shift in the stage of the what is happening in the DD construction stage to the schematic and the design development stage. So here, when you see the graph row, is basically a BIM workflow, where we are developing the 3D models in that particular stage and resolving all the clashes between the multiple disciplines, and then taking the drawings to the construction documentation stage for the execution. So when you have all these before, the cost of design changes are very low because you're not started anything in construction, and we are doing a lot of coordination activities and resolving all that and make sure that you give the drawings for the execution. That's the major shift that we are bringing in. There's nothing different. We're just changing this BIM, the traditional process. We are early starting that process by using certain technologies and domain knowledges and the process into it. That is a BIM. There's no one single definition for BIM. It can be explained in many ways. Um, and this is one better understanding of what exactly happening. Traditional process, GFC is issued to the construction site, and then if there is any issues or clashes or RFIs, so you raise back and then you work on again these GFCs, and you hold the work, or you have to do the rework. So this process itself is, yeah, I'm not saying it is completely wrong. This is a traditional way of happening, and a lot of projects have been done, but you haven't done anything in terms of cost and the time in that particular process. When you bring this digital project management or the design workflow of BIM, where you are involving one more stage of, you develop the 3D models of GFC and have one digital consultant on place to resolve all the clashes and coordinate all the models between the structure, electrical, fire, mechanical, and have the drawings, coordinated drawings, and issued to the site for execution. So that's a change that this process is bringing in, and if the process is right and in place, and it will be a huge success in terms of cost and the time for a project. So the digital implementation I was talking, it's one entire workflow I would just touch base. So we have the in different stages of what things needs to be done. So I was talking about the digital project management, where we need to set up the entire documents as per ISO 19650 framework for the project, like project information requirements, exchange information requirements, BIM execution plans. And common data environment is very important when you're working on BIM, because you have multiple stakeholders or consultants that are working in a single project, and you need to have one common data environment to manage all these data. So it's very important to set up a common data environment and explain in detail how information has to be, produced, managed, and shared between the consultants, and what permission levels and all other things. And then comes back to managing 3D model, clash detection, coordination, 4D and 5D, and virtual construction. And same thing continuing with construction stage. So you set up certain things, and you need to manage those things in the construction stage as well, like managing the common data environment. And then here comes, yes, you have a schedule in place, and you need to put some tools and technologies to bring back the construction progress monitoring using the reality capture to bring back actual work that is being performed on site. And also have a case study later to show one of the case study on how we are doing progress monitoring with reality capture, and have 4D 5D plan versus actual to understand where we're standing and other things, and as build documentation at the end of the project to bring back all the changes that happen on site into your model. So that's one. And existing projects, as I already spoke about, using the laser scanners to capture the buildings to extract or develop the as-built drawings, which can be used for renovation works. So let's get into the 4D BIM. I gave what is BIM. So before we jump on to the 4D, so when we speak about 4D BIM, a lot of people, time. So it's not. They just know this. Okay, 4D is time and 5D is cost, but there's lot of work and lot of information that goes into it, the lot of analysis that goes, so which most of them are not aware of. So, and what we're doing is, in simple words, what 4D BIM is all about. You are developing a 3D model. You have a geometry 3D model with you, and we have the project schedule with us. We are trying to link the 3D model with the schedule and run the virtual construction simulation to see if our schedule is right, or if we have modeled everything, or if there is any clashes, it brings a lot of transparency and understanding in terms of communication between the stakeholders. So that's about 4D. And there's always this question, when is the right time to start 4D? People are always, okay, we'll just do one video for the sake of doing, but when just like that. But we need to have certain BIM goals, like exactly what needs to be done. So when is the right time to start the 4D? So I would say a development, design development is the right time to start the 4D. And you when you're doing 4D, your 3D model has to be developed in line with your work breakdown structure. So you have a work breakdown structure with you, and you have the tasks and activities that have been mentioned with timelines. And the model has to be developed in line with your work breakdown structure. Say if you have a slab, you have been modeled, sorry, in terms of activity. If you take, you have four ports to be done. When you're doing modeling, if you do just one slab for the entire floor, you basically cannot see the virtual construction the way your schedule is. So you have to develop the model in that way, or just putting one column from the ground floor to second floor, or till the top. It doesn't work like that. You need to follow your work breakdown structure and model your elements in line with the work breakdown structure. So to understand this, so we need to be at the design development phase where the consultants are developing the 3D models. So that's when we need to make the design consultants understand this is how the model has to be modeled. And so that's why the development phase is the right time to be in part and start with 4D. So this is one of the survey from my international journal on this is based on the awareness on 4D BIM and the potential benefits in Indian construction industry. So back then, this is 2 years old data, but still things have not changed much 2 years. So if you see, 74% of them have not used the 4D BIM, but they still know, okay, 4D BIM means it's a time where linked with your model. But hardly very minor percentages used 4D. So this is one of the stats from there. It's because why it was not in place is because there was no much of talk or how it has to be done in industry. Things are changing now, and a lot of people are understanding the use case of 4D and 5D, and started implementing in a lot of their projects here. So some of the benefits I would just put from the recent some of the projects. See, basically it will give enhanced visualization. You can see complete virtual construction of how things are happening. And next thing is the validating the construction schedule. Yes, you have developed the schedule, you have the critical path method in place, you have the sequencing that is being given, but still it is all imaginary thinking and doing the schedule. Now you have the model in place, and when you see virtually how things are happening, you can actually validate how your sequences is being given. So if there is any issue with sequencing, you can tweak your schedule, and that will give you more realistic timelines to the project. Otherwise, if there is something changed, that might cumulatively give you the wrong realistic end dates of your projects. So that's something we also can validate the model and the construction schedule by running the construction simulation in place, and also have if and analysis where you can set up some baselines and see what if analysis can be done by running virtual construction before we freeze the schedules. And project monitoring through 4D graphical representation. Yes, you have the schedule, and once you link with your model, you have a baseline that has been fixed, and when you start updating your schedule, you have a plan and actual. So you basically can have three windows of graphical representation of what is been baseline, what is the baseline you have done, and what is the plan that is going on, and what is the actual. So you can graphically represent these things in work. And when it comes to the better project interdisciplinary, there you bring in a lot of coordination between the multiple disciplines, which will bring them a lot of understanding. And the model-based scheduling, this is what I was talking about. You have the model and you can start the developing the schedule directly through the model. So there are certain tools now, Synchro, Excel, and other things where it is capable of developing schedule as well. So you have the model in place and you can develop the schedule directly in those platforms. If not, you can still bring in your MS Project or Primavera P6 schedules into these platforms to run the virtual construction. And by doing all this, we are bringing in the stakeholder engagement, and actually the contractor understands, okay, this is how it is going to work, and if there is any issue, he will highlight, okay, this particular tasks have to be finished before starting something else. All this can be, when you're running the virtual construction simulations, will engage in all these discussions and have more realistic timelines to your project. And also logistics planning can be done. We can do some analysis, putting some tower cranes or some movement of stock planning and all the other things in 4D models. So this is the whole picture of what is the workflow. So we spoke about what is 4D and what are some of the benefits and all that, and also how it has to be implemented. I'll just run through what all is required to do 4D. Basically, you have the construction schedule in place. So that is one, and the model 3D model has to be there. If not, the model has to be developed in line with your work breakdown structure. And the next thing is you link your construction schedule with your model. That's majority of the work that been involved. And when you link both the schedule and the model, and then you try to run the simulation and validate the accuracy and correct all the sequencing issues and other things. So once it is all acceptable, then you make that as a 4D BIM model. So this is the end of design development, and when you start actually updating the progress on once the construction hits the ground, when you have the 4D BIM model and you develop the activity, you update the progress, and progress visualization can be done. So you can run the, as I was talking about, have 3 different windows to run graphical representation of what is being planned and what is the actual work that is going on site. So this is the entire workflow for 4D BIM. Say talk about this some of the case sample of images from the case study. So this is the project schedule. Particular in this case, we brought in the MS project schedule into this 4D platform Synchro, and it's very one important topic where that I would like to bring in. So there should be a common parameter between your model and the schedule. So when you have this common parameter, it becomes easy for you to link both. So that's where we have this unique concept called WBS IDs. So you have a unique WBS ID for all the activities, and these WBS IDs needs to be incorporated in your 3D model. Say for example, I have a few columns or beams which has activities, and that activity has certain ID, and that ID has to be gone into the element properties, where this WBS ID will be the unique which acts as the linkage between the model and the schedule. So that's one concept, and you have some simulations or AI to put in some of the scripts to assign automatically with the schedule. I have some videos to just. So this is one of the project that we are doing here in Bangalore. It's very goal-oriented in terms of virtual construction. So what you're seeing is some of the demolition activities that are happening on the site. We actually model the entire earthwork by doing the laser scanning. We actually got the exact profile of the ground, and it's been modeled in layers and divided into areas, and based on that it keeps running the virtual construction. And also we have modeled all the shoring nails that are happening on the side for the stability works, and then start with the soil drains and the PCC and waterproofing, and then start with your raft. So this is a complete virtual construction till the detail design development stage, and then you have all the works that are happening. And this particular model will be taken to the construction stage, where we develop this model into the, because when the contractor is on board, the schedule goes into the one more minor level where you break the schedule into execution based on the ports, like I was talking about the slab. So we bring in a lot of activities into it, and similarly break the floor into based on the ports, and assign WBS IDs to those, and then have one more virtual construction simulation at the construction stage. This one is to just understand till detailed design phase how things have been planned and modeled. So basically, you have to do this activity even in the construction stage as well. So that's one case study video. And so during construction, I'll just talk about just one work here to show what is the baseline and what is the planned and what is the actual. So, and when you run this baseline, planned and actual, so you can actually graphically see how things are happening, what is planned and what is the actual work that is going on into the project. So we can export these graphical videos and along with the timelines to understand what has been planned and what is the actual work done. So right now we are only seeing in terms of the graphical. We also can bring into the quantity level. So this is your planned quantity and this is the actual quantity that is happening, that has work has been done on site. So this is for the entire earthwork package work, where it is, if you can see, this been divided into areas and layer wise layer, because you need to have that step cuts as well to go with the excavation. That's about progress monitoring. That's about 4D. So what we have gone through what 4D is and how it has to be linked and what is the workflow that needs to be followed. We have also touched base on what are the benefits that we can get out of the 4D, and this let's go into the 5D part a little bit. So when you're doing 5D, it is basically of two things. You extract the quantities from the model and review the quantities and have the cost line item to those quantities to calculate the budget. And also when you bring into the activity level, you also can progressively calculate what is your project budget for next look ahead plan and all other things. So there are two ways of: one, you just extract the quantity from the model. That's basically, we call it as the static 5D, where you extract the quantities from the model and put in the line item cost to it and get the project budget. But when dynamic is when you're bringing that the quantity and the cost to the activity level, what you have been planned. So where you extract the quantities, see, we have done 50%, I would say 50-60% of work already developing 3D model, and we have done 4D also. So why not you utilize this 3D model into the fullest extent? So you extract the quantities for those particular activities, and then you add all the BOQ line item cost to it, and have the budget in place. So you have the budget from the model, you have the ordered amount that is gone for the vendor or contractor, and you have what is billed amount. So you basically can actually track what is planned, actual, and what is the cost to completion of the project along with your schedule. So this is very important to bring in the quantity and the cost to the time, which will give us a better understanding on the project and money that is being spent. So you have certain scripts to extract the quantity and resource utilization and all other things. I'll not touch base most on that. So let's start with the laser scanning. As ever, the second part is so basically it is a LiDAR technology used to create 3D representation of objects. Basically, what this laser scanners does is it actually ejects the lasers to hit the beams have been hit to the object and reflects back. So it collects the millions of points around the object and gives you a point cloud data. With the help of that point cloud data, we develop the 3D models. So that's basically laser scanning. So this is a reality cap. That's the entire process. So what you're seeing here is a Leica product RTC 360. So this is the workflow. So first you plan the site because when you're doing, there are multiple technologies, like there is a drone, there is a traditional laser scanner. So if you want more accuracy and you have a lot of indoor works, we have to go with the traditional laser scanners, where it will be fixed on a tripod, like how you fix your total stations in your tripods, and place these scanners in multiple locations to do the scanning. So if you see this X marks are the locations of the scanners to make sure that you have captured all the space in the sketch. Once we do the scanning, then you have, say you have here some 5-7 scan positions. All that needs to be stitched together and have the process data together. So that's when we're process, we make it as a single point cloud data and add in the coordinate system to it, add the accurate XYZ coordinates, and bring those models to the 3D development. So certain use cases, like you can be used for retrofitting, scan to BIM can be used for retrofitting to get as built documentations, which and as well documentation. I was before also I told about at the handover stage, you basically need to update your model or your drawings as per the site conditions, because that will be the base, that will be the drawings for the entire operation and maintenance. So you need to have the accurate drawings at the end of the handover stage. So where we do the laser scanning and use that point cloud data, compare with the models to update the model and give the as built. And records, you can keep that as a record. And also the construction progress monitoring, I was talking, progressively scan to get the exact quantity of work. Basically you do the, say certain works are done. So I'll have a case study for this construction progress monitoring. I'll explain there in detail. So we can do floor flatness and floor levelness to understand does it meet your contractual requirements. And digital twin, yes, we for existing properties to have a 3D model scanning, and mapping and survey, where you can generate the topo or terrain conditions, contours, all the digital elevation models for planning analysis, all that. And also for cultural heritage preservation, where a lot of our preserved heritages have been scanned and stored the data. So this is the digital construction progress monitoring. We have a 3D model in place, and we have the project schedule. So we are linking that together, and we are running the virtual construction simulation to understand how it is going on, and to bring back the exact work that is being done from site. We are bringing in the reality capture technology, where you do the scanning and exact quantity of work that is being done, bring back to the schedule or the model, and progressively update your schedule as well. So that's what if you see here, as built verification, the right side one corner is 3D model, and this is the scan data overlaid with your model. So that's how we do the verification at the end as well, to update the model as per the site conditions. So this is a case study that I was talking. So we will talk about the excavation progress monitoring for the excavation alone. So there's a huge savings in terms of this particular work as well, and I'm sure most of you here listening would be listening for the first time for the excavation. So this entire excavation has been divided into areas as per the contractor execution plan, and the entire model has been modeled in the way we have the schedule divided into 8 areas, and also the side shorings have been modeled, and all the nails that are going into the soil for stability. This is the entire model of the excavation. This apart when you remove the entire earthwork, this would be the side structure for stability of the work. Yeah. So what you're seeing, the right side, left side picture is the initial stage of the earthwork. Basically, we scanned this entire site even before the work has been started, and exactly gave the profile as per the site conditions. And when you do the modeling based on this profile, you get accurate quantities for the execution. I mean, for the contractor. See, you would have already issued a order. If not, this process will give an accurate quantity in place to get an accurate order. Then every 15 days, or based on your billing cycle, we do the scanning and get the present profile. And if you see the right side, it is the scanning after maybe a couple of months or 3 months. I just put for more understanding in terms of graphically. So when you see this profile, it is all been excavated, and when you compare, it will give us the exact quantity of the work that is being done and executed. So this process is being done throughout the excavation, and also for the when the structure starts, we will also do it for structure, and mainly for MEP services to see the quantity of work that is being executed on site using the laser scanning technology. So these are some of the profiles from the scan data. So date wise, so what is the work that is being done? This is some of the works. So if there is any Q&A, I would like to take the question and answers. Or you can always reach out to Desapex if you're looking for any of services in terms of model management, 4D, 5D, reality capture, laser scanning services, and all these particular requirement now in industry. Or if you have any queries, you can always reach out to our website, or you can reach out to me through LinkedIn as well. Tusaku, can you just type your, yeah, I don't know if I can make you speak, but if you can put down your question in chat, I would like to take it up. I can see your hand. Yeah, there's one question. See, the progress monitoring is not a complete automation. It is not like automatic. You do the scanning, you get the point cloud data and link it with model, and it gives you what is the quantity of work that is being done. No, it is a semi-automated. There's nothing automation in this as of now in industry. So you do the scanning, you have the scan data from the site, and you link it with your 3D model to see the actual work that is being performed. And also when there are two use cases here, you also can get the actual work that is being done on site, and also you can, if there is any changes progressively you can update your 3D model as well in that. So there's a question here. Yeah, so hi, great presentation. How to integrate reality capture into Synchro 4D? Wow. So we have an option to bring the scan data into Synchro. You can you can reach out to me. We can have a call. I will I will show that process. Wherein your Synchro platform is now taking the point cloud data into the model. But again, when you go back, it is again Synchro doesn't give you any or any in fact any other model. It doesn't give you direct automation of this is the work that has been done. It is again the process that needs to be linked and see the work. Okay, there are many questions coming. Okay. Okay, thank you for awesome presentation. In some of our cases, the owner will directly assign activity IDs. How would you address 4D in this situation? See, when okay, say if owner is directly assigning activity IDs, is it based on the WBS IDs that you have it in your project schedule, or it is just a random IDs that they are going to do? So if they are doing already the IDs that are there in WBS ID, then it is then you can take the same model and you can do the auto match rules and other AI rules to assign the tasks to the schedule. But I would recommend in this case to have the unique WBS ID codes in place first, and can even after developing a 3D model also you can assign them later using these IDs. You can select all the elements based on WBS and assign these particular WBS IDs. Sir, it is seen that a digital twin is only implemented in after construction. No, sir, it is not the case. Digital twin, yes, now a lot of people are talking. Yes, you have the model, you have the all the information into it at the end, and take that for the operation and maintenance. But also, digital twin can also be your when you're doing virtual construction, you're developing a 3D model and you're linking the schedule into that particular model and seeing the virtual construction. Even that is a digital twin. It is a progressively you update the entire as built and other things. At the handover stage, you get a complete digital twin, where at the end of the handover stage, you add in all the non-geometrical information into it, and that can be taken as a digital twin. See, there are certain every stage of the construction there are different data drops that happen into it. Say in design stage you have all the design information that you have been designed for that particular building. You add all the design information into the parameters. When the construction stage something is being installed, say certain equipment is being installed, so you have the information about that tool or mission, where it will have the make, model, or whatever information into it, capacity, who is installed, when was it installed. All that information is been added at that stage. So there are multiple data drops that goes into the model and have one consolidated model at the end of the construction stage. Mm. A great presentation. How can we expedite linking work between the 3D model and P6 activities? Have you developed your own standards? Yes, this what I was talking about, the WBS unique ID codes is one of the strategy that we have implemented. So where we every activity will have the unique codes, and this unique WBS ID has been assigned to the model when you're developing based on the work breakdown structure. And when you bring this to the 4D platform, we have some of automation where you can write a script saying that this is the WBS IDs in the schedule and these are the WBS IDs in the model, and it will map and assign this particular modeled elements into these particular activities, and which will reduce the amount of work. It's It's basically we are doing a lot of work at the early stages, exactly that what we are talking about, the entire BIM process, BIM workflow. In terms of that, if I go back to that curve, so here also we are doing that work at the development stage and having IDs in place, and that will be helpful for auto assigning. Yeah. So there's one more question. Do you think is there any benefit to put 4D data inside Revit? Should we make the schedule data inside model software or keep it separated in 4D software like Synchro? Here it's up to the planning team who is developing. So if you see, one of benefits that I mentioned is model based scheduling. So you have a 3D model in place, and based on the 3D model you can start developing your schedule. That's one way of doing it. Or we can still follow MS project schedule or Primavera schedule, where you develop the entire schedule in it and bring it back to your Synchro. And what Synchro or any other softwares have is now they synchronize your schedule. So you have one schedule, and then say you made some changes in your MSP, and that can be again synchronized. So you have the complete synchronization. So there is no missing of any data. So you can also export the MSP or the schedule from Synchro back itself. Or once you finish your schedule, you brought back your Synchro, and if there is any minor changes, you can do it in Synchro itself, because it's capable of doing planning. It also has a capability of planning. You can have you can create certain activities there. You can give the linkage between the activities, like finish to start or start to finish. You can do all that activity there itself. And this is one more question. I'll take this as the last one. Okay. Okay, there's two more. We'll just do this. So do you think, is there any benefit? Yes, there's a benefit to add 4D data inside Revit model, particularly when I'm talking about the WBS IDs. It's very important to add it in a shared parameter in the model. So every element, if you select one column, it should have the WBS ID in it. And based on the WBS ID, it will help us in doing assigning particular elements to the task later. So it actually simplifies our job in 4D platform when you put in some of the information in Revit. It is possible to share the webinar. Yes, so we would be uploading this into our YouTube channel and also in our website, in LinkedIn. It's available. And you always can reach out to Desapex. So if there is any more detail that you would need to understand, or if your projects need any of these services, we can have a one-on-one call to discuss and take your discussions forward. So please do reach out to us if there is anything. And it was very wonderful and very interactive session. A lot of questions. I'm very happy, and that too, it is a long weekend. Uh, I didn't expect a lot of audience, but there were quite good amount of registrations and a lot of attendees as well. So it was a good session, and thanks for joining. And you can always reach out to Desapex, and we can discuss on any of the services that are required.